back today. I started with one earlier with Gila Green, and I'm back with the great Christie Shinn. I think I spelled your name better than you did actually on the StreamYard today. But it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris Sites. I mean, that's what it actually says on yours.
Yeah, like right there, Christie Shinn. Oh,
Yeah,
it's Christy, guys. It's not Christy, but I don't know if I
yeah,
can change that.
yeah, it's okay. It's the way it goes. It's Christie Shinn. She's author of Demon of. Actually, you've done some neat stuff. You came. We met in San Diego very briefly. I
Yeah, I
remember
remember
this.
you now. I remember you
Yeah,
now because the picture I was like,
I've seen him before somewhere. No,
yeah.
I met you for all of. It was like, yeah, Madeline actually recommended you to me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
she actually
Yeah.
recommended you to me actually. Because she's like, hey, you gotta go meet this person, and I met you. I think did I get your card? I don't think I got your card. I'm pretty sure I didn't get, and I'm sad about that because I think it was just, I didn't have any. San Diego's nuts. It's just the way it is. But met, connected, you found me, we found each other, and here you are. So welcome to the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I fixed my title because I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yay! Yes,
Yeah. It's
editing can
like,
happen.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I mean, you came highly recommended, and you've done some cool books. Like you have done some pretty cool books. Your voice is super distinct, and I think that's an awesome thing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I think that's another time, like they said, oh, you'd be good in voiceover. And now it's like, oh, your voice is super distinct. I'm like,
I'm not even talking like your voice. Like, I mean that I'm sure you could pull that off. But I mean your writing style too, just the
oh,
way
yeah.
you have a. I truly think like good stories are somewhat like we tell our own stories in our work, no matter what it is, whether it's comics, whether it's stories, whatever the case may be. You do a very like your stuff stands out because I think I say this as a big compliment. It's unapologetically you, and I think it's
Mhm.
awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard that. I've heard that. And it's a really good compliment. I mean, I never get tired of hearing about it. Like, I hear about it a lot, but it's good to hear about it every time because sometimes, yeah, you'll have days where you're just like, man, is this the right thing? What I'm friggin' doing? I don't know. And you feel kind of like upset or depressed about it, but then you're kind of like you go with it, and then you hear that, and it makes you feel really good.
well, okay, so this thing, someone like you, this is you, I usually it's about finding what about you that really clicks with everybody else, and but the moment you find it, it's a home run
Hmm.
because there's nothing like it out there because it's so you. I think sometimes with all I think a lot of creative. I have a theory about like the best creative people, like people that make the most success in the industry. I think they're the truest to themselves. Even if they are sometimes writing a more formulaic piece, there is something really them in there, and
Hmm.
they just find a way to do it better than a lot of other creatives do it.
Hmm.
I think that's the real challenge, to be honest with you.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of like I think you can get a bit of like peer pressure because it's like you want to sell your stuff, you want to do your thing, you want to move forward and get it done. But there's that other bit that's like going, well, I need to be marketable, I need to do all these things, and they're just like, you know, whatever on that.
Well, it's interesting. Like comics today is very much about like that being distinct because I think because of Kickstarter, because of other avenues to crowdfund, it's easier slash harder to build an audience today for an individual creator than it ever was. It's easier to put yourself out there.
Mhm.
And the thing about a lot of mainstream stuff is, I mean, traditional published books, whether it's books or comics, they know what flavors of ice cream they offer. You
Mhm.
can come up with your own flavor. And if people try it, they'd be like, that's awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's just I think it's like I think people like there's chocolate and there's vanilla and that's good, but sometimes you want to do something like with a little bit of oomph, and a lot of times people kind of don't get that they can just add just a little bit of something. They don't need to be this totally over the top person all the time unless they are. Then they are. But it's not like you don't have to be this totally like Superman dynamico whatever the hell it is.
No, I listen. Just it's about being the best version of you, whatever that actually is or isn't, right? And in your case, like you're refreshingly blunt. That's how I actually describe you. Refreshingly blunt. I get I get the feeling you're the type of person just like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it like I see it. That fuck it, right?
Yeah, it was weird because it's like I've run into that too. It's just like I've gotten to a point where I'm just like going, if you didn't do this, you would actually probably be a better, like, you'd have a better life. And they go
Mhm.
like, and they said like, it's like you don't really like this person. All you like about them is their fucking pool or something, Like it's weird because it's like one of my biggest pet peeves about how people talk to each other is they say, "Can I be honest with you?" I've always hated that. I mean, I catch myself saying it once in a while, and I really actually hate it because it's like you weren't honest before. No, it's one thing is to say, "Can I be blunt with you?" Because like you were always honest before. Like you say, "Hey, I don't really like that you do this," but you have some tact. But when a person starts going out of their way and irritating you, and then finally you say, "Can I be blunt with you? You're being a real asshole. Stop," like kind of thing. So that's why sometimes it's interesting because I I don't know if it's because I have a lot of friends because of that. I guess I do because of that. It's just because they know where I stand.
Yeah, you don't waste time. Like in this day and age, like in this day and age, I appreciate my time a lot more. I would rather you be honest. If you think I'm an asshole,
Hmm.
right, and just take the time, call me an asshole, and move on.
Yeah,
It's oddly. I know where I stand,
right.
right, that's such a nice space to be in. Some people, you're like, I don't know what this motherfucker believes in, right,
Hmm.
and you're just like, and that's in your head. So when you have that in your head with somebody, you don't trust them. It's just like
Hmm.
I don't know up from down. And since I don't know, I'm kind of just gonna go like this, put my hands there. I'm gonna watch my wallet just in case, and I'm gonna try not to like leave myself too open. But when someone's just fuck it, this is who I am, take it, leave it.
Hmm.
It's hard. It's hard sometimes, but it's better that than trying to be something you're not, and then ending up hating yourself for it.
Yeah. Well, there's that because I did that for a while. Like when I was younger, like they said, "Oh, do this type of art, do that type of art to make yourself more marketable." Blah blah blah. And I would try all these things, but it just like didn't make my art more marketable. It just kind of made me much not more noticed. And so I was like, I'm kind of over it. I don't want to deal with it.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get it. Like, again, it's got to fit you, right, right, right. It's just gonna. You have to find. You gotta find what works for you. Like, what's marketable can change on the drop of the hat,
Hmm.
right? You change too, but you change usually at a normally slower rate, right? So it's easier to be consistent,
Hmm.
right?
It sort of evolved. Like there's a
Yeah,
difference between changing and evolving and all this
yeah,
other stuff. And I
yeah.
think like when you're more evolved to what you want to do, it works out better for you.
Yeah, exactly. No, totally. It just, but again, it's a process. And I think one of the biggest things as an artist, it's being comfortable with yourself and being comfortable sharing whatever you're going to share with other people.
Hmm. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
I'm just kind of at this point now where it's funny because it's like you just don't know how things are in the unknown. Like, yeah, I hear a lot of the talk about Kickstarter, like, oh, this is harder, that's harder. I just choose to figure out what to absorb, but I
Mhm.
don't try to go and start complaining. Like I don't like I complain like I'll say, man, I need to push this. What do I do? But then all of a sudden I'll have a surge. So I'm like, okay, so that works. Like right now for a while it was like 64%. Like it crawled like a couple of percentage points, and then all of a sudden it jumped up to 72, and then it jumped up again to 75. So it's like
So,
that's not too bad. Like there
so
was
what?
literally a dead day in between.
So, what do you have your Kickstarter link on you right now? So we can just show the audience what we're talking about here.
Sure, we
Whenever,
can do it.
yeah, or anyone that watches this later. Yeah. Send me
Definitely.
that all and send me that all important. like I said, folks, we're trained professionals. We know what the fuck we're doing on here.
Right. Listen.
Yeah.
There we go. Put that in the thing. Usually have it like very
Yeah.
ready.
It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the title. Very, very transmetropolitan.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like going
very
wall.
So there you go, folks. Take a look. It's Demon Bitch. I Hate You All. We will pimp the hell out of this at the end of the episode too. But so okay. Why? I guess I should. This might be the most blunt question of the bunch. Why Demon Bitch?
Well, she's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell, where people throw their dog crap and gum wrappers, and she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid. So she's based off people I hate. And it's like, essentially, I just drew this because I saw people acting like stupid assholes, and they were doing all sorts of stuff. So it was getting very, very, very irritating. So I just wanted to go and break somebody's face about it. So I just went ahead and drew cartoons because I figured that was more of a legal way to get my aggression out.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to judge what you do in this life. I mean, I know how little there are the rules really in this life, but yeah, it's safer for you just to draw it out than to go take it out.
Well, yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's like I've been noticing people have been more on edge or more shittier lately. So I'm kind of like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I ask this, like when you're drawing about people you hate for whatever reason, do you find yourself ending up more around those people or less?
I think less, because they kind of can read up that I will draw them if they anger me to a point. So I'm just like gonna just draw them.
Okay. No, I see me. Yeah, like I would see me and you would have a slightly different forms of revenge. I would not feature them in a very serious story. I would feature them in fan fiction. Because I figure that's an appropriate punishment.
That sort of sounds like the Harry Potter, that infamous one where it was like the Harry Potter or whatever, and they made it kind of like Twilight or something, and they read it and it was really badly written. Like I said, virility. I forget which one it was, but it was a Harry Potter fanfic. Yeah.
So for me, there's an old sci-fi show called Babylon 5.
I remember.
So back in the day, the actors that played Jakar and Londo played a really nasty prank on the series creator, J. Michael Straczynski, who wrote most of the shows.
Yeah.
He promised revenge. What he decided to do was he decided to write a very special script called the Jakar and Londo sex scene. It's a fan fiction It's a fan fiction story, and it was his revenge on both of them for what they did to him. So wow. he decided, that it does exist. You can look it up, right? So it was his way to get revenge on them, because he was like, if I do anything to you on the script, you win, because on the script you had enough impact in my life to do it. Now this way, I still get to take out my frustrations with you, but I do it in a way that you're never going to share to the public.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sweet, sweet revenge, right? And if you do share it to the public, I win anyway, right? Because I never intended on publishing this, right?
Yeah. But you can find it. That's funny.
Yeah. He actually, let's see, it was like 10 years ago. He offered it as he was sold his scripts like a multi format thing, all his scripts. If you bought all of them, you got that script as a bonus. So that was the thing about that, right? So I learned from JMS, do not promise to kill people. They all volunteer for that shit. Make them fan fiction. They'll be like, wait, what? Yeah, I'm going to make I'm going to make it weird, right?
Is it like a homoerotic fan fiction? Because that would be funny.
It wasn't homo. Well, one of them had a sex change, so I guess technically yes. Oh. But I mean, yeah. But yeah, it was a heck of a thing. I know more about this than I thought I did. That's weird.
Wow.
That's okay.
I never knew.
Right. Yeah.
So it was like a script, And what was it about them? Like a
It was
revenge?
just, it was just, it was just the, it was just the fan fiction section. It was just, he wrote a very specific scene just with those two involved. It was never on screen. It was never meant to be. It was just a little joke to get even with them.
Mm,
So, yeah, Russians have evil senses, a wicked sense of humor. Is what I've learned. So, just like okay, that was good. That was good.
that's funny.
So yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you another big, super serious question.
Yeah.
How did you? Why did you get into comics?
I always loved comics. I've always been drawn to them. Um, at first, I was like, kind of like, no, I think I'll be a graphic designer because I want to be practical. Then I thought fine artist, then like kind of like pop artist, and then I kind of went into film, and then I thought I'd be a filmmaker. Didn't work out that way, so I thought web designer, and then that didn't work out that way. And then now it's like I'm working on. Then now it's like comics. It's like I was always into underground comics. Like as a kid, I always read comics. It was great, and I kept seeing those, and that was awesome. And I don't know. Then it just kind of evolved where I got annoyed at everything, and then I really started drawing comics. I mean, I tried a couple of times. Like I submitted to the big two, and it was really shitty. I'm not going to look at it as bad because, like, how we had the monitor stylus tablets or something, it was like, you know, it was like all crunched up and everything. So it was kind of crazy that way. But other than that, yeah. So, and then
Ah,
I started drawing whatever I wanted, and I liked underground because I used to read a lot of comics as a kid. I still do. Not lately though, because I've just been like, I'm sleepy, you know. But so now, like, I write and draw comics and stuff, and it's good, you know.
yeah. So, is there like it just was just you just trying to figure out what spaghetti sticks to your wall?
I think what stuck to my wall, and then I discovered it about 10 years ago, and then I realized, oh, this is what I should be drawing about. Fucking angry comics about shit that annoys me. That's a great start. And then
Yeah.
drawing like actually, I have actually done more serious stuff like Sepulcher, which is about a woman whose husband tries to kill her to marry another woman, but he screws up, but she loses her voice forever. And that's one of the rewards actually on the Kickstarter. You can get signed copies of my other books as add-ons. But yeah, it's just I was kind of like, okay, cool. And I was kind of happy with that. But yeah, it's just like I guess in my whole roundabout way, I just go with a story and I just go with it. I don't try to plan it out. It's kind of weird. But yeah, like my
Yeah.
favorite is writing and drawing pissed off stuff that makes me laugh. And apparently that's a lot deeper to people than I realize.
No, it's how we cope, right? Like I mentioned Transmetropolitan earlier, right? Whatever you may
Hmm.
think about Warren Ellis today, that book made me
Hmm.
laugh way more than it should have. That's a dark fucking book. Like just a dark like book, but it's funny. It's legitimately funny in lots of places. Like when he
Hmm.
discovers that his machine is doing drugs, like actually making its own drugs to get high off of while serving him. It's like
Hmm.
this is a fucked up future. And that's when I know artificial intelligence will actually truly be on our level when they
Hmm.
do drugs, just like we do. That'll be when I know it's like, you're alive or close
Well,
enough.
would they smoke weed or would they do pot or would they meth out or get fentanyl? Because if they do fentanyl, they'll
I
probably overdose in 5 minutes.
maybe I somehow feel it's gonna be like some crazy trippy hallucinogenic like mushroom kind of thing, right? It'd be
Hmm.
their equivalent to mushrooms, right?
Hmm.
How do you stimulate? Because again, physically speaking, let's say I make a robot. A robot isn't going to feel anything, right? Physically that much, but mentally, right? Like mentally, man, you can even today you make AI think down is up and up is down, right? We got material for that shit now. That's what I think it's going to look like anyway.
Well, I was just thinking of like Mr. Bucket, like they had chatbot and something awful, and they plugged it with the most worst things ever on the internet, and it just would
Yeah,
just like it's sort of like, hi, how are you? And then it just got more and more degenerate as time went on.
yeah. They actually shut it down. They actually shut it down because like people just warped the thing to death.
I wonder what it got to at one point. It's kind of like that like movie Virtuosity with Denzel, like where they were feeding Sid like all the serial killers and shit, and then they put him to life and everything.
Yeah, well, I think at the end it probably just warped down to like this childlike, corrupted drive, not knowing up from down. And it's like I don't know what's right anymore, and just randomly trolling shit at the same time. It's probably where it ended up, somewhere in that thing.
Right.
Because looking at our social media today, it's like we've gotten more bipolar as time has gone on with social media.
Yeah, that's why I've never been an advocate of people going like, "Oh, well, people are stupid." It's like, are you're coming from a false sense of like superiority here, motherfucker. Like generally you should actually go and understand people are highly emotionally reactive. Then they decide to go hyperbolic and then they say, "Oh, well, you don't think there's any stupid people." Say, "No, there's stupid people, but there's not as many as you'd like them to think." A lot of people are highly emotionally reactive, sorry, and if you expect people to be stupid, it's like this. If you already expect people to be stupid, why do you get mad when they do stupid things? Shouldn't piss you off.
Well, yeah, I mean, because then who's really the stupid person there, right? The person doing the stupid thing, or the person reacting, right? Especially if you're not surprised. I think what blows me away today, yeah, like, I mean, grant you, we're having a conversation. You're in California right now, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're in California. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, right? We're having a conversation. Now, it's not a real, it is a real conversation as we're talking, but it's not an in person conversation. There's no eye contact, right?
Mhm.
The jokes are only halfway terrible on here. They're not fully terrible like they would be in real life. And, right, because there's a little bit of a distance. I don't know your life. I don't know what your day in and day out is.
Mhm.
So, I mean, do we all do stupid shit? Absolutely. It doesn't necessarily make you dumb. It just make you dumb in the moment.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
can do stupid things. But yeah, there was but yeah, but I mean, there's some people that just like, oh, people do dumb things. They're like, oh, people are just stupid. I'm like,
Yeah, it's weird. Like I see the need for social media because from a marketing standpoint, yeah,
yeah.
it has its uses. But I can't wait for I can't wait slash dread that TikTok is overtaking Facebook in terms of like content, so I can get off Facebook because I don't like Facebook very much at this point.
I'm okay with it. It's like whatever.
Yeah, I just I've come to that point in my life where I just like less time on the screen, more time in the real world because I truly think the real world is actually kind of precious. Like there's lots of always cool things going on out there, and it can be a magical place. I mean, that sounds really hopefully optimistic, but that's who I am.
Mhm. Because there are sometimes I'm just like going, it's like you enjoy the moment for what it is. It's like I don't need to take pictures of myself all the fucking time. I
Oh
mean, it's
no.
funny because like people ask to take pictures of me, which is cool, and that's awesome. But yeah, just it's like interesting to me because it's like, it's kind of like I'm not saying if you take a selfie now and then you're a bad person or you're weird, but I think if you take a selfie and like you take selfies all the time, you're just like there's something just really inherently wrong with you. I think it's like people should just ask to take pictures of you if you're really that important. Oh shit, I said something so mean.
That's okay. Like I said, I have a different take, but it's okay. And I'm not saying because I don't do a lot of selfies. I kind of look at
Oh, excuse me. Wait, I can't hear you. You gotta. I can't hear you. Okay. No, not yet. Not yet. Okay, that's fine. Ugh. Technical difficulties, guys. It will be done soon.
Am I back?
Now you are. Yeah,
Am I back? Okay, cool.
we're good.
So
I can.
StreamYard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank God. StreamYard has this thing where it kind of sometimes will conk out, and I have to actually reconnect. And that's what I just basically did.
Oh yeah, that gets annoying that way too.
Well, technology's not perfect, right? So you just accept it. As I was saying before, I disappeared. However, I disappeared. Um, Selfies, if done well, they can tell really cool stories. but I think it's yeah, like you gotta. I do think you have to have more of an online presence if you want people to really take you seriously. All right, unless you're
Yeah.
trying to be bad on purpose. If you're bad on purpose, I'll give you like a golf clap. Like it's like okay, that's good. That's funny, right? Because if you know you're bad on purpose and you're having fun with it,
Yeah, I mean,
more power
if
to
you're
you.
messing around with it, like there was one time I was in the hospital, like I had to have a major operation, and I was remembering some of the girls that would take pictures of themselves, like to get sympathy likes,
Yeah.
and so I decided to take a picture of myself with my IV and everything. Took a picture. I'm like, and here I am waiting for the surgery, and I look like shit because I haven't washed my hair in 2 days. Not that I wash my hair every day, but like your whole beauty regimen goes to shit when you go to the
In the
hospital.
hospital, yeah, yeah. Everything tends to go to shit when you go to the hospital, usually, right? And then they hopefully fix you. Although it's in the American medical industry, I get a little scared about that. But I mean, hopefully they get you're back up and running. But yeah, the whole time you're there, I mean, it's about just getting better. Hopefully,
Yeah,
somehow, some way. So that shit goes out the window. I mean, look what they dress you up in. Those gowns are shit, right? The
I
food
mean
is
you look
shit.
awful, and
Yeah,
then
you look up.
yeah,
Then you.
like what I had is I had an IV, and then every time I bent my arm, it would beep because it would go like, oh no, she's clogged up, and it's like they had just gave me saline and stuff,
Yeah, so you got an IV, and the food is shit usually in a hospital anyway. It's just like, so you're like, it's just not fun any way you're gonna be. So I mean, any way to make that fun, any way to make that fun, you do it, right? So,
Mhm.
but it is what it is. So real quick here. Okay, so talk comedy. Have you tried comedy?
I actually have done stand up. I just haven't been able
Yeah,
to do it consistently, but yeah, I have done stand up.
something told me you had that kind of sense of humor. Like you
Yeah.
go up there and just go out there and be like, you know what? Fuck it. I find like we're talking about like you talk about like writing about dark shit you hate like people you hate on there, but it's like humor is the ultimate coping mechanism.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like sometimes people can be really nasty. Like usually generally I've not had to deal with a lot of that. But it's weird because even your friends, some of them just are the most disempowering people ever. It's like sometimes they can be. It's like they'll just keep talking about, oh, this is impossible, this is impossible, this is impossible. I'm like, that's great. Please stop building it up in my head, kind of thing.
I, at that point, it kind of questions like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Why are you like?
that's another thing. I mean, I've had better friends now, but some of the friends but I've noticed like people's friends, and I've had people like that in my life where it's like they're just kind of constantly negative, where they say little negging things to you, and you're like, why?
So I do usually motivations. I usually do motivations on my Facebook page. That's what I use it for. I do motivations and I plug my shit.
Mhm.
I had this one person for the longest time that would like try to fight me on my motivations.
Mhm.
That's not how that works. No, it is how that works, right?
Mhm.
And it was amazing. It's like you look for any reason to be negative. And I was blown away. It's like, isn't life fucking hard enough? Like, do you really need to add to what already is an obstacle by itself?
Well, it's also like, if something's shitty, do you want to make it shittier in your head? Like, I don't get
Yeah,
that. And I don't get the fact that it has to be this negative, fucked up thing. Like, granted, I've been in my dark nights of the soul where I don't see anything good coming out of the day. But I just don't see it. And I'm just like, okay, well, I know things are working towards my advantage, but it's like you just feel shitty. But that's okay, as long as you can feel like somehow it'll all work out. And even if you feel like you don't sometimes, but it's just like, excuse me, I'm burping.
that's
Um,
okay.
but it's like one of those things where you're sort of going like, I just, I'm just at the same time, like, I don't know what's going on kind of thing. Like it's sort of like, I'm just going to go and just go with it, and it kind of sucks sometimes. So,
Well, yeah, because with anything, right? There are moments you ask yourself, "Am I doing the fucking right thing?" I think a little doubt's healthy,
yeah,
right?
like it's normal. I don't think we should go and we should go and discount us being human. I think people think, oh,
Yeah.
well, you got to go and plug this and you got to do that. And it's like, dude, I had a mentally tiring day yesterday.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm kind of short tempered. I kind of need to have a space to myself.
Sure.
And it's like, you're not a machine. I mean, it's okay. Like, yeah, we joke about like this person's a machine and everything. And that's good. They put out great output or something, but it's okay to have like a moment or something. Like, probably after this, after my con, I just want to kind of just relax for an hour or two and kind of regroup before I do more shit today.
Yeah, you regroup, deal with assholes like myself for a little bit, then actually like, get back to whatever work you're gonna do. If you're gonna even do work today. Like sometimes I'm a UFC guy. I remember something Michael Bisping saying. It takes a lot of confidence to take a day off. It really, really does. It's
Yeah.
about it takes confidence to do it because like sometimes you're just good. Like, you know what, I'm not gonna do anything today. I'm done. And then some days it's like, okay, but the trick is, and this is the hardest thing I think when you're especially trying to make a living doing it on your own, is the discipline to go, okay, but tomorrow I gotta get back on the saddle. Tomorrow I can't be a lazy fucker, because if you do it too many days in a row, you're just no longer taking a day off. Now you're just being, you know, now you've crossed that line into I'm not doing anything anymore. So,
Mm.
but and that's a weird thing because I know there's always that dichotomy. When I take days off, it always feels weird to me that I'm not doing anything or I'm hardly doing anything.
Yeah, I
Right? It's
get the same
like,
way too. I have to do some shit.
yeah, exactly. You get to that point and you're just like, I should be doing more. But sometimes like, okay, like this is my second podcast today. I want to do some more work, but probably what I'm going to do right away is I'm probably going to play video games for a little while, just because I need a break, and that's fine. As long as I get back to
Hmm.
what I'm supposed to do sometime today, I'm good, right?
Hmm.
But
I
that's
think,
but
yeah.
that's but that's
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying, like, yeah,
no,
you
go right
need a
ahead.
day off. Or you take a break during the day, of course.
Exactly. I mean, I've already gone for like, I've already gone for like 4 or 5 hours today. So I mean, and now it's not a full day yet, but it's time to break a break. But a break's okay. Then I come back
Yeah,
and I do some more stuff a little bit later tonight.
yeah, yeah.
So
Like
and that's it. And
oh, sorry, I apologize. Go on.
no, it's okay.
No,
No,
I was.
jump in.
Sometimes I think it's just your brain and your emotions have to take breaks too. Like they really need to rest too. Because I used to figure, I used to think that being um, constant on the go was great, and I think that's erroneous. Like what we teach ourselves. But the problem is that then you start to overload, and then your temper flares sometimes, and you snap or something. And I'm just kind of like, with me, it's like I'm kind of like mentally tired because I just had a con that I went with. And even though I love them, showrunners are great, everything's good. It's just like, there are some things that I have to tackle, but it's just like, okay, I know I'm on a certain level stressed out because I'm sort of ill. I'm kind of like not as patient right now. So it's like this is the time to kind of take a break from it. Hey, Living
Yeah.
Scarecrow.
Hey. Hello, living scarecrow. Ahoy, hoy, as they say. Right? Nice to see you. No, it's true though. Like you have to like you gotta try to be honest with yourself. Like it's not like you have to do stuff because again, we're trying to put content out there. We're trying to show the world, hey, I'm real. I'm a real person or something to that effect.
Mhm.
And but it's okay to take a break. It's okay to like kill time. Uh so we're just talking about random shit. They're living scarecrow. I'm doing okay. I've had an interesting day. Christy, actually, have you had a good day? All things considered.
Well, it's been good. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I had some irritating stuff happen, and so it's like one of those things I got to mentally tune out. But I'm running a Kickstarter too, Living Scarecrow. So there's that. That is very funny. It's about people and
Yeah.
things that piss me off. So there you go. And I draw asshole comics about it. So you should check it out. Other than that, I'm thinking probably like after this, I'm going to take a bit of a nap. That's what it
Yeah.
seems to regenerate me, is like just take about a little bit of a nap and I wake up and like, boom.
The biggest two things I miss from a kid are regular naps. As an adult, though, you can take them again. And I also miss recess. I
Oh,
honestly think the world would be a better place if we all actually went out for 15 minutes a day and screamed.
that could be it too.
Yeah.
or drawing fucked up cartoons about things like just
that,
loud.
that, that, that,
Like,
yeah. Well, where are you from and live in Scarecrow?
yeah, I
So
was wondering about that.
yeah, midnight. That could be Middle East. That could be Europe. That could be something like that. Yeah.
Europe, Europe.
Yep.
Usually
Yeah.
they're 8 or 9 hours ahead, so that would make sense.
I just interviewed somebody this morning living Scarecrow from your not quite your neck of the woods, someone in Israel. So I have an idea what the time zone difference is. Okay, that works. That works. But no, like the whole thing about doing this is like again, you need the discipline to do it. By the way, that is like the best marketing copy I've ever heard in my life. Asshole comics about fucked up shit that pisses me off. It's like it's pretty straightforward to the point. Like it's like okay,
Well,
I know.
I heard somebody like talk about a really hard game called I Want to Be the Guy back in the day. And it's like an asshole game. Like everything and anything kills you. Like it's just stupid. Just things shit kills you and you have this little pea shooter fucking gun and you have to beat the game. But it's so hard to play. So it's like they say, oh, it's an asshole game. So I just said asshole comics.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Living Scarecrow. Writing your first book is always a bit of a challenge, figuring out how to do it the first time.
Yeah. It just
Right.
going out and doing it. And people go like, oh, well, it's really hard. I said, well, the hardest part is you're talking yourself out of it. Just write a book. Oh, I'm afraid of shit. Well, then read it. And if it's shit, then rewrite it again. But you need to write it to see if it's shit anyway.
Well, also, so what if it's shit? Like that's not really the
Like,
point, right?
it doesn't it doesn't need like if you write your first copy and it's shit, that's okay. You just do it again.
Yeah,
Or until it's not.
or like so I started drawing about almost 3 years ago. That's coming up actually in a month, my 3 year anniversary of drawing. I'm not going to say I'm good. I'm competent. That's all. I'll give myself competent. All right. And but when I started, I was terrified of sucking. And then I had a really wonderful thought. I don't actually. If I treat this as a fun thing that I don't have to worry about whether it's good or not, right, and try to do the best I can, just have fun, I can get somewhere. And I have. I've actually had a couple artists. I had an artist basically over here goes, I envy you that. I'm always trying to get this shit right. And you're just like, I'm just gonna goof off. You don't care. It's like, yeah, you don't have to care. Right? If it's fun, right, you can suck on purpose.
Oh well, I mean, look at fucking Jonan Vasquez of the Bad Art Collection. That's really shitty.
Yeah.
Bad on purpose. So was Filler Bunny. It was bad on purpose. They were great books.
Yeah. Well, Bad on Purpose is super fun. Like actually my favorite one, comic wise, that I read not too long ago was Axe Cop.
Oh, I've heard
It's
about that. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, world class artist told by 10-year-old brother. So the story just goes wherever it goes, and it's just like, I can use this right now. This is fantastic. Other things kind of fit that mold for me. Like, I don't think it's bad per se, but Spy X Family has kind of like that. It's just it's not designed to be a serious book, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to take it seriously. And sometimes that's the best. Those are the best books. Hey, I'm not trying to be awesome. I'm just trying to have fun. And honestly, the world can use more fun right now, I think.
Yeah. Actually, I think I haven't read it like continuously, but I have recommended to people. One girl that I knew from the UAE, she was asking about it, and I said, "Oh, you should read I Hate Fairyland."
That's it. Is it?
Because I told her about it. I said it's like about a little girl, like when she's 6 or 7, she gets an invitation. Oh, you get to be with the fairies and stuff. And she's like, yay! And then 37 years later, she's like, I fucking hate this place. I never age and nothing ever changes. And she's like out to kill everything in Fairyland because her mind just finally snapped. She was done with it.
She just went full scale murder bitch, right?
Well, she never got to grow up. It was the same shit. All I eat is fucking sugar. It's like, all right, I'm done with this.
Yes, I want something else. I want to do something other things. And the whole thing is I'm gonna go. I actually have not read that one yet. It's what I wasn't sure if I was gonna go for that or not. Now
it's actually pretty fun. Sorry, whew.
No, that's okay. No, hey,
taking a nap later. But yeah, it's just a fucked up book. It's just funny. It's just warped sense of humor. But it's just like I read some of it. As I said, I haven't read it like all the time, but every time I read it, it's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. In terms of books like that, like I said, Spy X Family, fiction, I heart me some Terry Pratchett. I think he was the shit,
He
right?
was, yeah. He was
Yeah.
he was a very funny British man.
Oh, very very funny and
Yeah.
very very smart. Like
Yes.
very like those books are some of the smartest things I've ever read, and you're just like, I, I wish I was that smart and funny. I, you know,
Well, I think
I might be, but
well, I think with Terry Pratchett, I think with him. Sorry, I like interrupted again.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Um,
This was all time.
but Terry Pratchett, to me, I think he thought like a kid, but he could explain things. That's what I got from his
That's
books. When he would like Discworld, I think, right? He did Discworld.
yeah. That's Discworld. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yes.
was like reading it, and it's just like he's just got this way where he talks like you could be talking to a child, but it's not like you're talking down. You're not dumbing it down, but you're talking like, well, it was like this. It's like that.
So one of my favorite, like his biography about himself. One of the things he used to say was occasionally he gets accused of writing literature. I see you have a cat.
Yeah. Cleaning noodle fucker. He likes jumping into my arms when I'm there, so I'll let him strangle me
Yeah,
while I hold him.
it's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
Hey, thanks, Living Scarecrow. Thank you. But no, like with like I said, he was deceptively smart. You know, and because he would say profound stuff in all of his work. He'd sneak up. It would be sneaky. It wouldn't necessarily be the point of the work. But every once in a while, he'd just say something that's like, "Holy shit, he's right. That's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that?" But now it's just but that's why he was as good as he was, and like I've appreciated him more the older I get. Maybe I'm just sillier than I was when I was younger, or maybe I was smarter. I'm not sure which.
mhm.
So
I think it's maybe that you kind of don't care anymore, and therefore you're more open to have fun.
yeah,
I think when you're younger, not as a kid. Like I think in between like being a teenager to being in your 20s, you kind of get the stick up your ass that you know everything,
yes,
and then you kind of like want to justify knowing everything, and in reality you fucking don't. And the more you know shit, the less of a stick up your ass you'll become, and the less of an insufferable prig you'll be. And I think that's why it's like every you get kind of like nicer or something like that.
I also just think it's about confidence in yourself. Like I think when you're like in your teens and 20s, you have a ton of passion. Like the one thing I love about people in their 20s and younger, they really give a shit. In some ways, it's better that they have that energy because sometimes what they don't know changes the world, and I think that's awesome,
Mm.
right? But in the process, that you can tell that they're still looking to figure out their missing gaps inside them. And I found when I got to 30, I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with myself. Now I'm 40, I don't give a shit. When I'm 50, I will probably be a supervillain,
Mm-hmm. Oh.
complete with obnoxious red cape.
Mm-hmm.
Get someone actually, to carry it for me because I look at it like if I'm going to be obnoxious, I might as well go all the way. The only thing I won't do is talk to myself about myself in the third person. It's a little that's a little weird even for me, right?
Yeah.
Doctor Doom is the only villain that can get away with talking about himself in the third person. I think not anyone else can.
Doom can. Why does he do that? I don't remember him doing that. But when I've read some of the, like, I haven't even watched the recent movies, but when I was watching like the really old school cartoons, they showed Doctor Doom, but I didn't remember him talking in the third person. But then maybe I didn't see it as much.
Well, he does refer to himself in the third person a little bit, especially in the beginning, right? I don't know if it's as pronounced anymore, but in his early days, he did it all the time. Partly because it was how we looked at villains back in the day. Like we had more of a mustache twirling, wink, wink, nod, nod. This guy's a villain thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't go to evil, sadistic bastards until the '80s in comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then we made all our villains like evil and sadistic, and some of them worked out better for it. Some of them worked out worse for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I still think Superman should be the silliest comic out every month. Like literally, Superman should be like the world's coolest dad that just does stupid shit all the time and have fun. It would be a great book. But
Mm-hmm.
but Batman works better when he's more serious, right? Sorry, by and large, by and large. Although,
Brooding.
yeah, the brooding Batman's okay. Although, if brooding Batman ever did the Bat 2C, I would pop. That would
You know,
make
I was like
me
remembering
smile.
conversation when I said like people were extraordinarily lazy about writing about Superman. They had to like write him all emo and shit, which is fucking annoying because it's like, oh, it's like, he's supposed to be a good person, like a good Boy Scout. You got to take that challenge and write it. Oh no, I don't want to write it. Well, let's draw them all emo. It's like it's like we already have Batman. He's emo, and one person said, well, "What about the American dream crumbling and all that?" It's like you got fucking Batman for that. He's rich, but his parents died in front of him. They were murdered, so that means money can't buy you everything. There we go.
Yeah. Well, no, Superman. No, see, Superman should be like he was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, where he would just go on these wacky adventures, where his powers may or may not be handy, right?
Yeah.
He just happened to have powers. It did, but like honestly, that's what Superman was like then. Like All Star Superman is the closest thing we have to that, like modern. And it's not that modern anymore because All Star Superman was like I think in the early 2000s, late 2000s kind of thing. But late 2000s. So it's not modern anymore, but it's the closest thing you have, and it works. Don't make Superman a serious character. Make him a fun character, and you could have some serious fun with him. The last thing you want with a character like that, you don't want that to be serious. Like, why the fuck would you want that serious? I mean, it's been done, right?
There's interesting like alternatives to Superman and everything, but for the most part, I'm kind of done about it. Like, I'm not into that.
No, I mean, you got Homelander today with the boys. If you want that today,
Yeah,
then yeah, do you really like? I don't know. At this point in I mean, don't get me wrong. That's probably the darkest thing. I still when I do watch TV, it's the darkest thing I still watch. But for the most part, I've hit that point in my life. It's like, you know what? Give me Bugs Bunny cartoons. Give me like old school Disney afternoon. I'm old and cramping. I like my silly at this point in life because I can go outside. I can go read other things. Everybody else wants to be serious. I want recess. I don't know. Maybe that makes me crazy.
Oh, my
Ooh,
cat slipped.
yes. I saw.
I'm trying to sit up, and he's like a weird little monkey. I swear to God, my cat.
Yeah.
You saw how he was hugging me. He hugs me by trying to strangle me.
It's what cats do. I think cats are secretly serial killers, right? They're just secretly there, and they just tolerate their humans.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm watching a buddy of mine's cat right now. It's actually he misses them a lot. Like I give him some attention because again I'm not going to be cruel to him, but I'm also not his owner, his cat. So I'm just enough to make him feel like again I don't want him to feel like left out or isolated, but it's not my cat. I want to make sure that when they come back, he goes right back to them.
mm-hmm. What kind of a cat is he?
I don't actually know. The guy so the gentleman I'm with I'm helping I knew we were roommates back in the day and the woman he ended up marrying found this cat and he brought the cat home and at first that cat liked me and our other roommate better than the guy who he's with now because we took care of him. But what ended up happening is I moved out and the other guy moved out and they moved in with the girlfriend that the girlfriend moved in and the cat was theirs and obviously that dynamic has changed. But I'm always aware of the fact that when you are with an animal's with someone else's pet, they have their loyalties to whoever. You don't want to mess that stuff up. You want to make sure that dynamic's still there. Again, you're not trying to be inhumane. It's that I play with them. I make sure like they're taken care of, but at the same time, don't want to give them too much either.
I see.
So, yeah. So that when they come back, it's like okay, they're not going to miss me so much. They're going to go right back to where it belongs. So, but I've known the cat for a very long time. We still wrestle sometimes. So,
what kind of color is he? Is he
grayish, brown, and white?
Grayish, brown, and white. I'm trying to think. He kind of is he a bit stripy?
little bit, not much, but a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my cat you saw was stripy. I have a black one, but she's probably around somewhere. She's my shadow, and she just like goes up, and she's got this big fat black butt. She's a black cat, but she's chubbier than him. So it's really cool.
Black booty kitty. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Black booty kitty. So,
My friend who is
okay.
black calls her big black booty bitch.
Big black booty bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
The quadruple B. That's what it is. She is. Quad B. That's
Yeah.
what I'll call her. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I would take pictures of her bum, and then I'd send it to him, and he said, "Go hit that dude." He's like, "Yeah," we mess with each other so much. It's so funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I get why people. I get, like I said, cats are cool. I actually enjoy them a lot. If I was a little bit more like my goal with the podcast is to go on the road with it. That's going to be next spring, and actually after this afternoon, I'm fairly certain it'll be soon. I'll be ready to do it sooner than I thought, which is great. But now I'm right. This is right when Calgary's winter hits. So
How bad is Calgary's winter? Like I've heard of Canadian winter in general, but I don't know how Calgary is.
Calgary can be the coldest place on earth, and usually has 2 weeks of the year.
Ooh.
Minus 40.
Is that 40 Celsius or 40 F?
Does not matter at that temperature. They're the same.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that temperature they're the same. So give you an idea. Give you an idea what that's like. Like there comes a point where the thermometer doesn't matter anymore. Calgary at the winters. Okay, so Calgary has an unusual like winter, in that you can have a minus 40 for 2 weeks. Then it'll go up to Then it'll go up to 0. Then it'll go back down to minus 20, and then it'll go back up to like 5. Right? And these are all Celsius. This is Celsius. So put it in perspective: minus 40, then to 32, then to like 40, then it can go back down to like 20, and then it goes like it fluctuates. So we're right in the mountain range, right? So when we're cold, like cold, we are the coldest place on the planet. But if you want to go per capita, like what's the coldest winter in Canada? That would be Winnipeg, Manitoba. That can go down to minus 60.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So Winnipeg's the worst. Now again, that's extreme. It's not necessarily the norm, but it gives you an idea what the winters can be like here. So yeah. So where you're at, I would rather be at if I can. If things go the way I think they do, I'm probably going to take my Christmas vacation, at least part of it, somewhere in California.
Oh, we were making fun of that. Like, there's this one part where it's like, it showed like the cold throughout the United States. It's like, oh my God, cold. It's so freaking cold. And then California's like, ha ha.
Yeah.
We weren't like, we had a cold snap, but it wasn't as bad as the rest of the states.
Oh no, like you guys, Arizona, like I lived in Arizona, I lived in Phoenix. I know what the heat feels like there too. Used to walk out in that heat all the time. So it's weird. I've lived in both extremes, but like Arizona, Florida, Texas is hot. Like hotter than that. Then
it's humid too. It's like really humid. That's what kills you.
Yeah, it's
humidity and the heat.
Well, actually, that's what killed. Like here, like it's a dry cold. Like it's a dry cold. So when it gets to minus, we'll say 0, your Fahrenheit here. If you're here, it feels like one thing. If you're in Ontario or Quebec, that would feel like something else entirely, because the cold actually is wet cold there versus dry cold. So yeah, all of which to say, Canadian winters, with the exception of Vancouver, British Columbia, suck.
Oh, are they wet cold?
Vancouver
or they're just dry cold?
Vancouver is okay. So Winnipeg, I think, is a dry cold. I'm gonna cross my fingers on that one, because I could see that one going both ways. Winnipeg is Calgary, like Saskatchewan up to like the mountain range is all dry cold.
Right.
Vancouver has exactly like 2 weeks of winter, and only like 1 week of it actually has got snow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
right? The rest of the time, it's just rains. Like it rains twice a year in BC: January to June, July to December. It just rains, just the way it is. They're in the rainforest up there, so um, all of which to say is like, I mean, Canadian summers, unless you're really up north, can get really hot, right? Can get to 80 to 100 degrees on average, right? Can go hotter depending on the time of year. So get you an idea, just like our weather. But yeah, our winters here can be really bad. And where I'm at is usually the second coldest place in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't have that in California.
No, you don't.
It can get cold, but it's
You have
not
earth.
like, you know,
You have it, but you have earth.
yeah, I think we had a little tremor this morning. I just laid in bed. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have earthquakes. You have you can have hurricanes, although that's rarer, I think, there in California, right? You can have hurricanes. So I mean, it's not like it's all sunshine. Whereabouts in Cali are you? Are you southern or northern?
Southern California.
Yeah, so your weather generally is nice. I wouldn't say necessarily the hottest place on earth, but nice is I think a fair assessment.
Right.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I love. If I could, if it wasn't so expensive, I'd go back to San Diego in a heartbeat. That felt like perfect. LA is
pretty warm. Yeah.
yeah. LA is just too big for me. That's kind of how I feel like it's just big.
Well, it depends where you live in LA too.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. No, I do know that. Like it's very much where find being in the right place to do what you're doing, and that's not always the easiest thing to do there. But also, it's just I like Calgary. Calgary in terms of size, it's huge, but in terms of population, isn't as dense, right? So it doesn't feel as big for some strange reason as LA does, or New York does, or Chicago, or Toronto here in Canada, right? It kind of feels a little bit more like a smaller town. I think that's what that seems to be my sweet spot. Big enough to be a city, but small enough that I don't feel like I'm just going to get an F bomb on a random basis. But anyway, so as we're getting towards the end here, you said you tried a whole bunch of different things, and your comics seems to be the thing that's stuck. Why do you feel it works for you?
I don't know. It's like weird because I have a story to tell, but I like pictures and I like drawing. I started off as an artist, so when I started writing, I found out I was actually kind of good at it. So it works for me. The medium, I like it a lot. It's a storytelling medium, which I like a lot, and it's kind of like I think I can do it pretty well. So
yeah, you enjoy it. It makes you it makes you happy.
It really does, actually. Comics does make me happy. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's like working around and all that other stuff. And just like, I don't know, it's just fun to play with because you could tell a story in such a unique way. I know that sounds like a cheesy fucking school thing, but it really does. It's like there's ways to tell the story and it's done really well.
So one of my favorite graphic novelists of all time, see if you agree if they count, Dr. Seuss. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Seuss. Because a lot of his stuff you could put like a comic book thought bubble with the characters and it works. But the thing I love about comics is, and I like Seuss for this, but I like other like people that are more traditionally in the industry, you can get a whole story in a panel. Like just a one moment in time, you can get this wonderful, very touching moment, and it's something that's very unique to comics. It almost feels like you can get that emotional high off a book and other mediums, but very, very rarely did. I just feel like the convergence with a comic is truly unique. It just feels like when it really hits, it's like, wow, I really felt that, and I got that on so many levels.
Yeah. It's just like, as I said, comics are interesting because like you can tell a story so many times, but in different. It's not just writing; it's like how you draw it too. which is kind
Oh, absolutely. There's a storytelling language with how you draw a comic too. Like there's a lot to it that really can add to it. Okay, we're gonna get to the end here because I feel like both of us need a nap, right?
yeah,
So
I'm feeling tired. I am sorry. I'm like I really want
no,
to talk, but I'm just like,
no. Honestly, we've gone an hour. I mean, and that's all I ask for with my guests anyway. That willingness for that. So, and honestly, um, it was honestly, I've enjoyed our short but sweet interaction. I made you laugh a couple of times at my terrible joke, so I guess I'm not. It wasn't all bad on your end either.
no.
So real quick, I'm going to ask this. I always ask this with an artist. What is your favorite thing to draw?
I think I just like drawing women. Like I like drawing myself, but then I've just done that a lot. So I
Yep.
don't know what it is. I guess I'm just familiar with it or something.
Yep.
So it's like sort of weird that way.
No, that's fair.
I know
And
it like sounds like the weirdest thing to say, but yeah.
no, it's. I mean, when you're especially when you're getting started, like you probably were the best resource. And you've done it enough times. You're just like, okay, I'm ready to do something else.
Right. So
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
mhm.
Okay, so you got a Kickstarter going on. How many more days for your Kickstarter?
I think I got 17 days left.
Okay.
And we have PDFs. We have signed books of the graphic novel, Pen 15. And then I have Demon B Meets Mr. F Word, which is actually a kid's book. And looking down here, I mean, it's just like a lot of other stuff right over here. It's like, it's just basically a charm and a magnet. I mean, there's a pin and a magnet. The pin is like, hello, I am Shipbird. And how that happened was is that somebody said that they were one of my characters over and over and over again, saying, "Oh, the bathrobe is white like mine. You're stalking me and everything." And we were laughing because one of the characters is named Shipbird, and one of my friends said, "Oh, so they're a piece of shit. So they're a piece of fucking shit. Is that what it is?" So they were laughing their asses off.
I'm actually looking at it right now. Like it's you have a very you have a very dry wit to you. Like you really do. Like I'm not surprised you've done comedy.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and also like the last one is Blunderfuck Magnet. So what it is that somebody actually messaged me thinking that it was them. Demon bitch, somebody in Demon bitch, and then they told me I should go get fucked by a blender. And I sat there and I'm like, okay, whatever.
oh God.
I was like, why, guys? So now I made it into a bit. And even if they say, oh, well, you drew me, I said, I ran into 4 or 5 of you already. You guys suck anyway.
I see. What is Blunderbuck? So I how do I put this? It's not I just hope you know. Do you remember joecartoon.com?
I kind of remember it, yeah.
You remember the gerbil in the microwave?
Oh God, I don't remember that one.
Okay. Yeah. So somehow this conversation right here, oddly put my brain back in that place. Like I said, I'm a twistedly warped sense dude. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, actually, real quick, one last thing. If people want to contact you beyond supporting the Kickstarter, how would they do it?
Well, they would go on www.horrorstudios.com. There's my email there. You can send me, you can contact me there via my email, or it also has links to my social media, so you can DM me there. Facebook is the easiest way to do it.
Oh shoot! I put that in the wrong spot. I put that in the wrong spot. I'm skilled. I'm skilled. They gave me an award for this, Christy, a long time ago. You can tell I'm good at what I do. I'm good at my job, or something to that effect. There we go, folks. Check her out there. Contact Christy there. And Kickstarter's for 17 more days. You're at 75% of your goal, it looks like. So I imagine you got cool bonus content.
I will. Like, if we manage to get the stretch goals, that'll work.
Yeah. I think we will. I think you will get there. I think you're going to, I hope you get there probably within the next few days.
Yeah. I mean, it's been kind of pretty steady. So it's like, it's not as quick as I'd like it to be, but hopefully it'll be very quick.
Well, usually if you get to where you're at, you'll usually make your goals. So hopefully we get there so you can get to the cool stretch stuff. But Christy, I think we have an interview here. What do you think?
I think we do.
Okay. So folks, that'll do it for now. I got a really cool guest on Thursday. I may do something. Oh, sorry, Friday. It's not Thursday. No, it is Thursday. I am out of touch because I too need a nap. This Thursday, I have another guest for the show. But until then, folks, I'm just going to say thanks, Christy, for coming on. Check out her Kickstarter. It's funny, like honestly, folks, legitimately, she has a really wicked sense of humor. Go check out her Kickstarter, right? Or go do that, and that will do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this episode. Just joshing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay inspired. Keep shining in the dark, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.